Hello, good morning, and welcome to another video tutorial in my series on the Fantom ecosystem. In this video tutorial, here's what you're going to learn. We're going to be taking a look at the xLQDR rewards that are being handed out every 24 hours that you can then harvest and use. And our focus in this video is on the spell token, and that is the governance token for Abracadabra.finance. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about 4 different options that you have with those spell tokens. You can swap it, you can reinvest it and stake it on Spirit Swap, or you could reinvest it at the Abracadabra.finance site, or you can do what I'm doing. And what I'm doing is I'm simply going to be re-staking it and pairing it with USDT, and I'm going to be doing that on the Liquid Driver website. So before we get in here, there's going to be some transactions and fees that I'm going to have to be paying. So as always, all the information provided in this video tutorial is provided on an as-is and as-available basis, and you agree that your use of such information is entirely at your own risk. You should not construe any such information or other material in my video tutorial as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing in this video or on my YouTube channel constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer by myself or any other third party. I am not liable for the loss of any fiat assets, tokens, or fees incurred as a result of you following the steps presented here. And this is not investment advice. I am not an investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this video tutorial are for general information and entertainment purposes only and are not intended to provide you with specific financial and/or tax advice or recommendations for any individual or any specific cryptocurrency, token, or investment product. All right, now that that is out of the way, here I am at the main Liquid Driver web page, and we're going to click on xLQDR because this is where your rewards are showing up every epoch or every 24 hours. And you can see right now it's down to 91.55%. And here are the percentages, the APRs that you're earning if and only if you have locked up for 2 years. Again, remember, click the calculator and you can type in and see if I only do it for 2 months, what is my APR going to be? What if I do it for a year? What would my APR be? And then again, for 2 years at 104 weeks, that is how you earn the full APR shown here. So know that going in. And again, if you mistakenly put it in for 2 weeks, you can always extend the period of time. You can only have one time period for your LQDR to be locked. So you can't have 10 of them being locked for 2 weeks, 10 for 2 months, 10 for a year. It's all or nothing. So I've locked mine up for 2 years. You can see there is my removal or my withdrawal date down below. And so now back to claiming the rewards. Now I've been claiming the rewards on and off, helping some individuals and creating some videos. So that's why you only see $4.35 here. But here are the tokens I'm being paid out in: LQDR, WFTM, and so forth and so on. Now the spell token is one that is interesting, one that I didn't know much about. So I'm going to place the link to this article down below. And the spell token, can this crypto really work magic? You can read about it here. It's inextricably linked to the Abracadabra.finance or the Abracadabra money project, and it is the governance token for Abracadabra. Now, here is the Abracadabra site. We're going to be coming back to this site in just a minute to take a look at what the staking percentage is here. However, one of the things you have to do is when you connect your wallet, you can see my wallet is connected. However, when you click on stake to see how you would stake your spell tokens, you have to connect to the Ethereum mainnet. So I'm not a fan of that. It would have been nice if this could have all been done via the Fantom Opera mainnet so that you're not switching the wallet back and forth. But we're going to come back to that. So again, you've seen me do this before. We're going to claim the rewards, and this fee is being paid in FTM. So it's 0.17. And again, you'd have to do the math on that. FTM right now, or the Fantom token, is right around 290, 295. So whatever 0.17 and change of that is, that's what the fee is going to be. I know it's not more than $4.35 because the cost of the entire token, or the value of the Fantom token right now, is right around $287. So we're going to wait a second here And what you can always do, and I recommend, is you can click up here on your wallet and you can see that it is pending. So in other words, we execute the transaction and there we go. It looks as if it's done. Now it's going to take the website, there we go, a few seconds to update. And now I have claimed my rewards from the revenue sharing vault here with the locked up xLQDR. So if I go to my wallet, and we didn't look at the totals before. I am holding a few spell. I think it was 397 before I did this transaction. So we should have, yeah. So I had right around 397. So now we have 402.689 spell. Now, spell is trading, I think, for 0.01 cents or something like that right now. So this is not a ton of revenue here. However, let's now talk about what you can do with these spell tokens. I'm going to provide you with 4 different things you can do. And the 4th is how we're going to end the video because that's what I'm doing, and you'll see why. Now, the first thing that you could look at is over here on Spirit Swap, right? So if I was to click on Farms, you'll notice that right here there is an spell liquidity pool. Now, how do you get spell? Well, you can swap for it. How do you do that here at Spirit Swap? You come to the exchange. You'll pick the swap feature up at the very top, which it defaults to. And let's say that you have some FTM and you want to go ahead and swap that to get spell to create the liquidity pair. So I'll type in SS and there it is. Now, another little cute trick here is you can click this little plus sign and that will automatically add the spell token to your MetaMask wallet. Take a look at that. Very, very cool. And you can do that for any of the tokens that you see listed here. Again, this is kind of like a little sidebar. So let's say I come down here and link, which I don't have in my MetaMask wallet. I click on the plus sign, MetaMask opens up. Let me add the token. And when I click on my MetaMask wallet, now you should see that we have link in here as well as whatever the other one was that I added, which I forget. It usually lists them here in order. So at the very bottom, Cream, yeah, so you can see I was testing with Cream. At the very bottom is typically where you'll find, there it is, spell and link. So the most recently added coins or tokens to your MetaMask wallet, at least in my case, show up at the very, very bottom. So that's a great way to add it. Instead of having to go to FTM scan, like I had demonstrated in a previous video, you can simply do it here by, coming to the swap side, acting like you're going to do a swap, and then say, yeah, I need to add ICE, click the plus token, and away you go. It adds it to your wallet. So you can swap and get spell. Now remember, here on Spirit Swap, and let's go back to the farms. On Spirit Swap, if I'm using my spell and I want to combine it with spell and I want to make a deposit, I have to have the liquidity pair. So I have to have the liquidity pair created already. You can see I don't here. So what I would do is I would go back over here to the exchange. You would go to the liquidity link and you would click add liquidity because again, you're going to create the liquidity pair. And so you would pick on one side, and I typically on the left-hand side, I always pick what I have less of. So you would say spell, and then over here, if I had any spell, and let me type in SS, and then you could supply. You can see here that I don't have any, so it's not going to allow me, or I should say I don't have any spell, so it's not going to allow me to do this. But this is just showing you how you create the liquidity pair. Once the liquidity pair is created, you could then come back over here to the farms page. You would click on deposit, and you would deposit your liquidity pair, and you would confirm it here. And again, you're paying your fees in FTM. And so that is how you can stake or leverage your spell, pairing it with spell, and put it into this liquidity pool. Now, take a look here. There's 2 things to note. You're earning 14% here, and you're being paid out in the Spirit Swap token, Spirit, right? So that's something to consider. You're not getting paid out in LQDR. You're getting paid out in Spirit, and the percentage is 14.02%. So this is option number 1, is you could do this. Option number 2 is you could take the easy way out. You could come to the exchange, and you could swap the spell for some other token and then run off and do whatever you want. So you could swap it all to FTM. You could swap it all to LQDR. So you can do whatever you want there. And that would be option number 2. But again, I'm focused on putting that money or putting these tokens that I'm earning to work so that you can earn some passive income on them. So you can earn Spirit, and again, you can see right here it's dropping to 13.99 right now, and there's like a little I tab here, and you could do a calculator to see, okay, if I put in $1,000 after a day, how much would I earn? 7 days, 30 days, and then a year, right? Now, here's option number 3. Option number 2 in terms of staking options or farming options. But option number 3 overall. We could come to the boosted farms. And if we were to scroll down, we'll be able to find a spell, and I think it's FUSDT or FTM. There it is right there. So here is option number 2. You could come to the boosted farms, and if you wanted to participate in the Spell FTM liquidity pool, again, if you go to deposit, it's looking for the liquidity provider. It's looking for the liquidity pair, right? It's looking for you have already gone to the exchange, to liquidity, and put an equal amount of Spell and FTM together to create the liquidity pair. And then you can go ahead and click max and dump it all in here and confirm, right? Now you can see here it says get Spell FTM LP. Well, let me click on that and let's see where it takes us. Oh, right. It takes us to the exchange page and the liquidity option. So again, you could click that. It's going to bring you here. You then match up your Spell with FTM. Where's FTM at? FTM dropped off my, or actually is it already? Oh, sorry. It's already there. So it actually already filled in FTM and Spell for me. So as you can see, I would go ahead and, click 50% or 25% or whatever I was going to do, create the liquidity pair. Then you've got your liquidity token. Then you would go back to the boosted farm, and then you would come here and deposit it and drop it in there. Now, again, remember, we're on Spirit Swap. So a couple of things to note, and I think I flew right by the spell. And where did it go? I think I'm missing it here. Hold on, give me 1 second. I went too fast. Here it is right here. So again, 2 things to note. The interest rate is the APR is 19.06%. You can click on the calculator here. It's going to give you an idea as to if you put $1,000, I'm sorry, not put $1,000 in, but it's Spirit per $1,000. Yeah, I guess it is. You put $1,000 into the pool. This is what you would look to earn in these time frames, right? Given the current APR. Now, again, we're on Spirit Swap. You're going to get paid out in the Spirit token. So what could you do with that? Well, you could take it and you could create an LP pair somewhere else. You could swap it. You could do all kinds of things with what you're earning. But again, we're on the Spirit Swap site for these first 2 staking options or farming options where you've got some considerably lower APRs and you're getting paid out in Spirit. All right, so that's option 3 here is Spell and FTM. So now we're going to talk about option 4, and this is actually what I'm going to be doing with all of my Spell. And to do this, we're going to come back to the Liquid Driver farm site because this is the 3rd possible staking option. Again, I'll pull up the Abracadabra one, but I'm not a big fan of having to connect into the Ethereum the Ethereum mainnet in my MetaMask wallet. And I think you're going to see why I'm doing this. So let's scroll down. Again, you can see right here, Spirit Swap, right? So let's scroll down a little bit and let's take a look at what we can do with Spell. Well, I can actually pair my Spell with FUSDT. And again, that's frapped, like Frappuccino. It's frapped USDT. And take a look at the APR. Now, again, if you really, really want Spirit and you want to be paid out in Spirit, then you would do it on Spirit Swap. That's where you're going to earn Spirit on both of the farming options we looked at. However, if you're interested in earning LQDR as your payout that you can harvest and then do other things with, this would be the way to go. Now, you're going to have FUSDT because notice the difference between all of the Spirit Swap pools that are listed here so far, right? What do we see over on the far right? Well, we see an option to zap. And I've highlighted the Zap. The Zap is one of the coolest things ever because it does the swap of FTM to half of whatever you're pairing with, right? If you were doing FTM USDC or whatever you're doing. Like an example here would be the very first one up here, the LQDR FTM. When I click on Zap, I'm using FTM. Behind the scenes, Spirit Swap is swapping it for me, half of it, so that I get an equal amount of FTM and LQDR. And then it's also creating the liquidity token pair of LQDR and FTM. So it creates a liquidity pair, and then I can just come back and I shouldn't say come back. I can then just go ahead and stake it, right? So it's super convenient, but notice the difference. There is no Zap button here. So we can't zap it. So if I clicked on stake right now, you can see I don't have any spell FUSDT liquidity pair tokens available. So let's click cancel. So the question then is, well, how do I participate? Because man, I really want to earn 142% as opposed to 19 or 15 or 25, which is on Abracadabra. So this to me is a much better option because the APR is so much higher. You're getting paid out in LQDR, which you can swap anyway. If you really wanted Spirit that bad, why not earn 142% on what you put in here with spell FUSDT, take the LQDR payout and swap it to Spirit if that's what you're looking to do, right? So for me, this is sort of the obvious choice in leveraging the spell that I'm earning. Again, you're going to have to come up with the FUSDT, so that's going to cost you, right? You're going to have to, either take some FTM or take something and swap it to FUSDT to make this liquidity pair. So let's do the liquidity pair. And when I click on stake, it would have been nice if they had an option here that would take me back over to Spirit Swap, right? And this is kind of what might be a little confusing for some people as they see this and they're like, okay, well, how do I get this? Where do I get this? But we get it over on Spirit Swap. So I click on Spirit Swap. Let's bounce out of that. I'm going to click on the exchange. And what are we going to do? We're going to come to the liquidity tab. Again, this is assuming you already have spell and you already have FUSDT. If you didn't, you would need to swap something to get those. So I'm going to add liquidity. And over here, I'm going to go ahead and on the left-hand side, I always pick what is of least value. So I know I have more FUSDT than I do spell in terms of dollar value. So I always pick spell, or I should say I would pick spell. I always pick whatever I have the lesser dollar amount in value of from a token perspective and put that on the left. And then over here, we're going to pick FUSDT. I'm going to pick 100%. So we're taking all 402 spell, and you can see that works out to $6, right? And I have about $12, $13 of FUSDT. So now I'm going to create the liquidity pair. So let's click supply. I'm going to click confirm supply. My confirmation is going to pop up. Again, my fee is in FTM, and this is 15 cents. If FTM is valued at $3, 0.05 is like 15 cents. So I'm going to go ahead and click approve there, confirm. The transaction's been submitted. Spirit Swap has been extremely quick for me. I haven't had any issues at all, right? My issues are typically, user issues where I'm confused about what it is I might be trying to figure out. And there it is, success. Liquidity added. Now, how do we see that liquidity? Well, if I click on liquidity, initially this is going to say no liquidity found. So let's refresh because it does take it a second or two before it loads, and then it says no liquidity found. And it's funny, it always flashes that no liquidity found, even if you have LP tokens. So here is my FUSDT spell. So let's click on the drop down there, and as you can see, those are the values that are paired up. $6 in USDT to 402 spell tokens. And this is the number of pool tokens I've created, and then, my share of the pool, because this is a tiny amount, but hey, I've got 400 spell tokens. Why not stick them into that farm and stake them? And, every week as you harvest up your xLQDR earnings, you take your spell, pair it up with FUSDT, and then you go ahead and drop it into the pool and just continue to grow. All right, so let's drop back here to the spell FUSDT pool. And again, this is listed under Spirit Swap, and that's how we did all of the stuff we were doing in terms of creating that liquidity pair, because there was no zap option here. Again, it would be great if they had that, but it's not here. So again, an extra step, not a big deal. We're going to click on stake. There is that exact amount of spell FUSDT liquidity pair tokens we talked about. I'm going to click max. I'm going to click confirm. It's going to come up and ask me to confirm the fee, which is 0.12. And I guess you could do the math on that. It's probably a little over, what, 35 cents? Because again, it shows you that figure in FTM, Fantom tokens. And that screen, or that little pop-up box when you stake, typically goes away on its own. I haven't had any issues with that. And so now I've placed my spell and FUSDT into this pool. So how do we see that? Well, you click on show details. And again, it may say approve here if you've never used this pool, and you have to click approve in order to sort of, it's a 4-cent fee, and it's basically just, saying, hooking you up with the contract and the smart contract or whatever it may be so that you can participate with this pool. So we take a look in here. So what do we have? My stake is $12. It was $6 in spell and $6 in FUSDT, and I am now earning 142%. The APR in LQDR is 128, and the trading fee APR that's generated from trading fees is 13.73%. Now, my guess is we're not going to see this click up during this video because that is a very small amount. But again, compare this to leaving it sitting in your wallet. It doesn't make any sense, right? So why not pair it up with something and start earning some passive income on it? So this is what I will be doing with all my spells. So let's close out the video by talking about Abracadabra. The reason I left this to the very end is because you'll see when I click on stake to find out, hey, I'm interested. Spell is the governance token here at Abracadabra, so maybe they're paying out, a better rate. Let's check it out. So I click on stake, and what does it say? I have to switch to the mainnet. It doesn't even come up and facilitate that, right? Like on Liquid Driver or on Spirit Swap, if I'm already on the Ethereum mainnet, it'll pop up and ask me, or say, hey, to connect your wallet here, you're going to have to flip over to the Fantom Opera mainnet. And you can see that's how I'm connected here right now, is the Fantom Opera mainnet. But in order to see the stake rewards and how that would work, I've got to come up to my wallet. I've got to switch the network to the Ethereum mainnet. And you can see it shows you right up here, which mainnet your MetaMask wallet is connected to. And so here we can see, okay, well, I can take my spell tokens, and there's nothing to do, again, because I'm not doing anything here. But take a look. The approximate staking APR of spell, if I was to try to do something here, is 25%. So compare that to the 142%. Now, again, the difference is, I'm sorry, it just wiped the screen clear on me there. So the difference is make spell work for you. Stake your spell here and gain S spell. So what the payout here is S spell. So on Spirit Swap, you're getting paid out in Spirit. On Abracadabra.money, you're getting paid out with S spell if you stake your spell. If we go back to Liquid Driver, again, it's now at 143%. And, oops, sorry, that was, and so you can see, this is what I was talking about. This is why I don't like flipping back and forth, because now I come in here, let's click on Connect Wallet, connect to MetaMask, and you can see it prompts me, hey, switch network, instead of me having to do it on my own. Again, so you got to make the choice that's best for you ultimately. For me, this is kind of a no-brainer, because I'll take the payout in LQDR, because you can just always swap it later to get whatever it is that you wanted to get. If you really wanted Spirit, or if you really wanted more spell, why not earn 143% on it and then just take the LQDR and swap it? All right, well, those are sort of the different approaches you can take with this spell token in terms of reinvesting it and putting it to work for you. Here is the option I'm choosing to follow. I hope this helped you out and gave you some ideas as to what you might be able to do with the spell tokens that you're earning from xLQDR staking. All right, as always, I wish you guys the best of luck out there. Happy staking. And as always, I hope to see you in the next video.